Sit back, grab your popcorn, because I'm about to learn you something. Here are 50 amazing facts to blow your mind. In the early 20th century, it was believed that submerging yourself for 30 hours inside a decomposing whale could relieve rheumatism arthritis for up to a year. IRA Internal Security member Freddie Scappaticci, responsible for investigating and torturing suspects, was British intelligence's highest-ranking mole to have infiltrated the Irish. The British royal family owns a stamp collection worth over £100 million. In 1904, the Prince of Wales paid £1,450 for a rare stamp. Someone asked the prince if he had seen that some damned fool has paid as much as £1,400 for one stamp. Yes, George replied, I was that damned fool. Jazz musician Fats Waller was kidnapped by 4 men and given to Al Capone as a birthday gift. He performed for 3 days and was found drunk with thousands of dollars in cash stuffed in his pockets. Napoleon actually planned an invasion of the UK, but it was never carried out. Preparations were financed by the sale of the Louisiana Territory to the US, which the US financed with a loan from a British bank, so Britain was indirectly funding an invasion of itself. The Danbury Trashers was a short-lived UHL hockey team started by garbage boss and mob associate James Galante, who appointed his 17-year-old son as president and GM. In their 2 seasons, they set a UHL record for penalty minutes before Galante was arrested and the team folded. Alexander Hamilton was 6 months younger than Elizabeth Schuyler when they married in 1780. Their marriage lasted 24 years until he was killed in a duel by Aaron Burr. Elizabeth lived nearly 50 more years, fiercely protecting his legacy. Costco Connection, the magazine sent to Costco executive members, has the 3rd highest magazine circulation in the United States, behind 2 AARP magazines. The Sheffield man killed his neighbor using a bag of Pokemon cards after an argument. Suffering from psychosis, he ended him, later saying it was an act of mercy. He got life with 17 years minimum. In 1857, Archduke Maximilian of Austria married Princess Charlotte of Belgium. Napoleon III later urged them to rule Mexico, where monarchists sought a crown. It ended badly. Maximilian died by firing squad, and Charlotte suffered a mental breakdown. Alcohol is the leading global risk factor for premature death and disability among people aged 15 to 49, causing more deaths than malaria, tuberculosis, and violence combined. Diamond engagement rings aren't an old tradition, they were invented by marketers. In 1938, the diamond company De Beers hired an ad agency to convince people diamonds equals love. They launched "A Diamond is Forever," a slogan that took off even though diamonds aren't rare and are hard to resell. The term air conditioning, coined in 1906 by Stuart W. Kramer, initially referred to an air humidifying system developed for textile plants. Willis Carrier later adopted the term to apply to his air cooling systems. In 2019, a man died less than 12 hours after eating a hot fish cake that burned his throat, causing it to swell so much that he choked to death. The doctor who performed the autopsy said the symptoms were normally seen in people involved in house fires caused by smoke inhalation. When William Penn was granted a land charter by King Charles II in 1670, Penn became the largest non-royal landowner, owning around 45,000 square miles of land. This included land in what is now Pennsylvania and Delaware. Ernest Reuter, who was captured by Russians in World War I, joined the revolution and became chairman of an autonomous German Soviet Republic, returned to Germany in politics, got sent to a concentration camp and exiled to Turkey, and then returned to be mayor of West Berlin during the Berlin airdrop. Romance scammers in Africa combine online fraud with spiritual practices to manipulate victims and ensure success, often believing they enhance their scams' effectiveness and protect them from detection. Western Union was involved in the recovery of bodies after the Titanic sank. The CS Minia, a cable-laying ship owned by Western Union, was one of 4 ships sent to recover the dead. In 2018, the entire Greek Football League was suspended after the president of a team stormed the pitch during a match to confront a referee while carrying a weapon. The day after Robin Williams' death was announced, the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline saw the highest number of calls in a single day in its history, with 7,500, which is twice the normal number. In 2014, Anna Nicole Smith's estate failed in its final bid to obtain $44 million from the estate of J. Howard Marshall, whom Smith had married when he was 89 and she was 26. The oil tycoon died the next year and left his $1.6 billion estate to his son and nothing to Smith, despite her claim that he had promised her $300 million. James Brown's dying wish to fund scholarships for needy children was delayed for 15 years due to extensive infighting and legal battles over his $90 million estate, which was finally sold in 2021. In December of 2020, GoDaddy tricked employees into thinking that they had earned a bonus of $650. Employees were told they had failed a phishing test and were required to do social engineering training. After media criticism, the company apologized to staff but did not offer actual bonuses. The rap vocals in Evanescence's Bring Me to Life were added in by Wind Up Records against lead singer Amy Lee's wishes due to the rising of the nu metal scene. A 2023 survey of more than 1,000 hiring managers found that nearly 40% admitted to lying to candidates in job interviews. And in most cases, it worked. 92% of managers that admitted lying said a candidate that they had lied to accepted their job offer. In the US, Pringles used to call themselves potato chips until the FDA said that they didn't qualify as chips. In 2008, Pringles tried to argue in UK court that they were exempt from the tax on crisps, but they lost the case. 17th century explorer Louis Joliet, who's famous for mapping the Mississippi River, lost his original drawing of the map when his canoe capsized and later redrew it from memory. The president of NBC once tried to persuade the creator of Family Ties to replace Michael J. Fox. He said, "That's not a face you're going to see on a lunchbox." Fox later had a lunchbox made with his picture on it and sent it to the executive with a note, "This is for you to put your crow in." The 6th century architect Anthemius persecuted his neighbor and rival Zenon by reflecting sunlight into Zenon's house and by faking earthquakes there with underground steam pipes. A cat named Tommy called 911 to help its owner Gary, who had fallen from his wheelchair and couldn't get up. Gary had tried to train Tommy to call 911, but never actually expected it to work. There are an estimated 3 million plus undiscovered shipwrecks in the world's oceans. Steven Spielberg offered Tom Sizemore a role in Saving Private Ryan from 1998 under the condition that he would be given a drug test at the end of every day of filming, and if he failed even one time, all of his scenes would be reshot with someone else. He stayed clean and completed the movie. The idea for the original Final Destination film from 2000 came after its co-writer Jeffrey Reddick read a story about a mother of a passenger who had a premonition for her daughter's flight, convincing her to switch flights and avoid her initial plane, which ended up crashing. The first author to be named in all recorded history was a Mesopotamian poet, princess, and priestess called Enheduanna. She was born in 2285 BCE and was the daughter of Sargon the Great. Arthur MacArthur IV, the only child of Douglas MacArthur from World War II fame, has been living a private life since his father's death in 1964, living under an assumed name and residing in a Mayflower hotel until 2004. In 2007, the state of Minnesota passed a law that took effect on January 1st, 2008, making it illegal for retailers to sell American flags that aren't made in the USA. The endangered stream tree frog was named after Prince Charles in 2012, recognizing the then prince's work advocating rainforest conservation. This earned him the nickname the Frog Prince. The average person consumes roughly 20 pounds of onions per year. In April of 2022, the UK government added hepatitis B to emergency testing when people came into the ER. The results were that 1 in 300 people were diagnosed with hepatitis B. Wilbur and Orville were not the only Wright brothers. There were 5 brothers and 2 sisters, including a twin boy and girl who died in infancy. Catherine promoted the Wrights' work in Europe and marched in a women's suffrage parade with her elderly father and 2 of her surviving brothers. Romeo and Juliet was based on a poem by Arthur Brooke called The Tragical History of Romeus and Juliet, a translation of a French work itself and adaptation of an Italian novella. The 1954 animated adaptation of George Orwell's Animal Farm was funded in part by American intelligence agencies as an anti-communist hit piece. Ippolito d'Este was born in 1479, and he was a wealthy member of the powerful house of Este. He was made a Catholic cardinal when he was 14 years old without ever becoming a priest. He was deeply connected to the Medici, Aragon, and Borgia families. The Scorpio del Carro in Florence, Italy is a 300-year-old Easter celebration that shoots a flaming mechanical bird into a cart full of fireworks. A successful explosion means good luck in the future. Sub-Saharan African countries have the largest percent of male nurses in the world. The word artery means windpipe, as ancient anatomists found arteries empty in bodies and believed they carried vital spirits or air, with arterial bleeding explained by blood replacing escaping air from nearby vessels. The car ferry MV Herald of Free Enterprise capsized just 90 seconds after leaving port because someone forgot to close the bow door. 193 people lost their lives as a result. The Canadian town of Tisdale used to have the motto, "The land of R-word and honey," which was changed to "Opportunity grows here" in 2016. In 2021, Lady Gaga's dogs were stolen in a violent robbery. Jennifer McBride got the dogs from the thieves and returned them, hoping for Gaga's $500,000 reward. A judge ruled she can't claim it, as handling stolen property is a crime. McBride's role in the crime barred her from profiting. Although Slide Mountain is widely accepted to be the tallest mountain in the Catskills Range in New York, its exact height has never been formally measured. And that's it. Let me know which one of these facts you found the most interesting. Leave a comment, of course, and leave a like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.